Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound. And I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Ratcliffe, thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here, and I think, you know, everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time, and we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax. That made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career. He's seen it all, but we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax, but what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there. I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, whose faces, who I know in many cases, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good, productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, some big statements coming in there. And let me start with the last one that came from the Russian president. When Trump ended, Putin ended by saying the next meeting might just happen in Moscow. And Trump said he may just get a lot of heat for that, but he'll consider it. And let us just give you a glimpse that earlier Trump had said that the next meeting might just be a trilateral. Could that mean that the trilateral will happen in Moscow? A big card dealt by the Russian president as that press conference ended. Let's quickly take you through the big highlights of the statements which came in from the two presidents after that long negotiation. Both have a very positive body language so far. Both seem very positive about the negotiations which have gone in. The statements and the commentary, the kind of expressions which have come in from the Russian president seem extremely positive about what the Russian side feels about how these discussions have panned out so far. Quickly going through, Putin started off his commentary, his statements, by calling Trump and the US Russia's neighbor, and actually talking about common heritage, common legacy, common past, and the fact that they're just 4 kilometers apart in terms of how close that islands really are. Congratulated Trump And this is what Putin said, that when I met Trump and we saw visuals of that handshake as soon as Putin stepped out of his jet, that I congratulated Trump on being healthy and being alive. That was the first greeting that the two presidents had in this Alaska summit. First time that the US presidents have been in the same frame after 4 years. Putin called it that as of now, relations between US and Russia were at their lowest since the Cold War. That is how grave the situation was, as Russia agrees as well. The common history between Russia and US was referred to repeatedly by Putin. And he also mentioned that in Magdan Memorial, he was there because that is where there is a memorial for the Russian and US pilots who lost their lives. The other big statements which came in was that there hasn't been a summit for many years, and that he also gave a glimpse into the discussions that Putin had with Biden when the war started in 2022, saying that there was a chance of this war to stop there and then. And he said that they didn't want relations to reach a point of no return, to which perhaps that is what Putin is now suggesting, that the Biden administration did not agree. A big comment which came from the Russian president was also to hail what Donald Trump has been saying, that had Trump been the president, this war would have never happened. And Putin has now put his stamp of approval on that statement. Big show of bonhomie and camaraderie coming out here in this peace summit, which one can perhaps also call it, in Alaska.